It was very nice to see Lucho score twice. And Darwin scores too, just as you'd expect him to. Mo scores more, in fact, it's 4. And despite the 3 Lions flattering to deceive, I think in fairness, we can all still believe. The good, the bad and the ugly for Liverpool FC's boys during the international break. Brought to you by the LFC fans. Welcome back one and all for this international break edition of The Good, the Bad and the Ugly at LFC. And it's just a quick thing I thought I'd bung together just to highlight a few of the performances of the LFC players during this international break. So I'm not going to cover every player, but just those highlights. As always, thanks for stopping by. Remember to like, subscribe, and to follow the blog in written form, which is, of course, on Facebook, Instagram, and X. If you could, that will be appreciated. Without further ado, let's get the show on the road. I'm going to start with the good, which is going to be Luis Díaz scoring twice in Colombia's win over Brazil in Buenos Aires during the week. And this was for the South American World Cup qualification. I've got the Guardian here. I've just moved over to this way a bit because I think it looks like I've got a flower sticking out of my head if I'm over there. Anyway, I've got the Reuters report in the Guardian here with the headline, World Cup qualifiers, Luis Díaz scores twice as Colombia stunned Brazil. Uruguay beat Argentina, which we'll come on to next. So without having any particular allegiance to Colombia or Brazil, I do, of course, have an allegiance to Mr. Luis Díaz. And it's nice to see that he's on the score sheet, having gone back home and been reunited with his father, as we all know, who was kidnapped a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, fairy tale, a couple of weeks for Lucho. Well, the last week or so, a couple of weeks before that wasn't so great. You got to feel a tad of sympathy for Alisson Becker in the Brazil goal, but hey, what can you do? All is fair in football and war, as the saying goes. And moving swiftly on for the not bad, because there isn't massive bad news, to be honest. I'm going to go with Darwin Núñez, who also scored and got an assist as Uruguay handed Argentina their first post-World Cup defeat. So as I've got the SPN headline here, Uruguay hands Argentina first post-World Cup loss. As the headline goes on to say, if my glasses don't fail me, Uruguay played the perfect match to snap Argentina's streak. Luis Miguel Echeverri reacts to Uruguay's impressive 2-0 win over Argentina in CONMEBOL World Cup qualifying. So that's a not bad for this video. Well done, Darwin Núñez, for getting on the score sheet. Nice to see the boy continuing to bring his club form onto the international stage. So well done, the lad. And moving swiftly on, that brings us to the Smugly, because we don't really have an ugly this week despite England's performances, which we'll come on to in a moment. The Smugly is going to be definitely Mo Salah's performance for Egypt against, okay, they're not exactly world beaters, but opponents they are, Djibouti. And here we've got MSN quoting the BBC with their headline, Egypt Salah scores 4 as Nigeria held by Lesotho. The second half of that, not so interesting, but Egypt Salah scores 4. Below with the headline, Mo Salah hit 4 as Egypt cruised to victory in their first qualifier for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And we finish with just a mention for the England team. And here we've got the headline from the Beeb, England 2, Malta 0. Already qualified England gained an unconvincing victory over Malta at Wembley to boost their hopes of being seeded for Euro 2024 next summer. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they won 2-0. I don't think this report by Michael Eamons is actually going to go down in the history books, to be honest. but the result will. And I think that's really what matters. So not a bad result there. And we got the coverage of the Macedonia game here, 1-1. England manager Gareth Southgate believes he has learned a lot despite his side finishing their European Championship qualifying campaign unbeaten with a disappointing draw at North Macedonia. Well, go figure. Again, not the end of the world. I think they've done very well to qualify unbeaten. England topped the group at the end of the day when all is said and done. So, yes, they've beaten Italy on the way there and also Ukraine, two respectable sides. What is there really to moan about? Let's look forward to summer next year. I'm not sure if England are going to win. They have a very good team. They're in with a very good shout. We've got some good players. Trent Alexander-Arnold played reasonably well in both games. Didn't set the world alight, but at the end of the day, my main thing is that the guy's not come back injured, to be honest. It looks like everyone's going to come back in reasonably fine fettle. I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Thanks very much for coming along. And if you've lasted this long, then you're a glutton for punishment, but a nice one nonetheless. Thanks very much for that. Excuse my voice, I'm a bit hoarse today. No Fantasy Premier League update. FC Bumpy Grasted haven't played, but there will be something in the next standard podcast next week. Thanks again for coming along, and stay safe, everyone. Look after yourselves. Enjoy the rest of the week, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace. Your LFC file. The Brazilian players for Liverpool, I'm not sure if welcome back, one and all, to I've just moved. So stop saying so, Ben. God. Oh God.